Hello and welcome. In today's video, we're going to talk about 3 things that you can do to improve your kitchen. Hi, my name is Erica Meyer, and I am an architect and Feng Shui enthusiast. I love how we can add this extra layer of intention to interior design to potentially manifest what we want in our lives. If we give it the symbolism, architecture and interior design can act as the reminders that keep what we want in the forefront of our minds. That's what makes Feng Shui such a powerful tool when we know how to use it. So let's get into item number 1, which is consistent throughout all Feng Shui and especially important in the kitchen, is being clutter-free and organizing, because the truth of this space is it is a workspace. Yes, there are times of joyful party, but it's a place of work. Before I show you how I organize my space to be the most efficient and clutter-free as possible, let's talk about that kitchen triangle. Unless you have a galley kitchen, most likely you've got some sort of triangle between your water source, your heat source, and your cold source. Once you've got your triangle, then start looking at the function of the kitchen, how you're using it. This side of my kitchen is about pantry and storage, and this side of my kitchen is really about entertaining. Let's talk about the dishwasher, because this is a major point of transaction in the household. All the dirty dishes go in and clean ones come out. It's a lovely magical thing of modern age that we get dishwashers. Because this is probably a daily action, it's important that you keep the items that are in this space close by. Let me show you. This is where all the plates. We hardly entertain anymore with wine glasses, so they are way up on top. And then plenty of coffee mugs. Our heaviest plates are at the base, where we've got the most support for these dishes. Then on this side, now it would be kind of nice if it did open the other direction, but of course we're working with the symmetry on either side of our microwave. And we'll talk about hoods and microwaves in a future video. Please like and subscribe, because I have a client who was shamed for putting a microwave in above. Yes, in very big fancy homes, you can do a hood. You can do a hood in a smaller home like mine, but it is not required. Don't shame your friends and what they have in their kitchens. To each their own. Okay, back to my glasses. Here are glasses. We will do the drawers. As you can see, I've got our daily silverware. These are little things that we use on the regular pretty often, and this we hardly ever touch. Now, we do have knives on the counter, which Feng Shui consultants will say, put those knives in a drawer somewhere. But sometimes there's a reason why we don't do things. And this butcher block also keeps things from falling behind the refrigerator. So it still serves a good bonus. Above here, these are items which I rarely touch. And in this cabinet are items that we do not use as often. Serving dishes, pitchers, measuring cups. So that's the cabinets based on the dishwasher. The next thing is figuring out how you are cooking based around your stove. Next to the stove, we've got measuring cups, small skinny things, small appliances. And then on this side, area that makes me really happy, that I've divided by black utensils, wood, and white metal. On this side of the stove, easy access. These are our pans that are typically used, and a colander. And finally, we've got a blender that I use constantly. These get used all the time. The ones further back do not. This is a part of the food processor. Everything else does not really get used very often. Think about decluttering and then reorganizing your kitchen based on the major functions of the dishwasher, the stove, and the refrigerator. And this is our prep space, so we can push things into the sink and then grab things from the refrigerator, chop and prep here. This is always kept clean. The rest of this is usually got a little bit more stuff on it, but I cleaned it up because I was having company over. The number 2 item in your home that you need to consider that is affecting you is the lighting. Typically, kitchens have 3 areas of lighting. You've got your overhead ambient lighting. We've got our decorative and functional down lighting on the island. So it's serving 2 purposes as something pretty, but what is more important is the work surface. And then we've got the under counter lighting, which this is probably flickering. This home was built in 2018. So our under counter lighting has this terrible halogen bulbs in it. It's such a finicky bulb. They burn out all the time. And why haven't I fixed it yet? Because I have great secondary lighting for those spaces. It's truly because of this row of lighting, these counters are really nicely lit. One problem that I see on most Reddit forums, pictures posted of terrible kitchens, how do I fix it, is because you have a 2x4 light fixture illuminating the entire space. So it is a big blob of light hitting everything. And the key to making a space with this one mono light better, if you can install downlights, because that is a costly endeavor to remove the light, split the electric, to put in 2, 3, 4 or more downlights. Save that big project for another day and just put a piece of tape over the light switch so you don't have that overhead light anymore. And then focus on illuminating your workspaces with LED strip lighting. The other big mistake that I see people making in kitchens are the farmhouse lights. The problem with these lights, and look they didn't even illuminate them in this photo because you would be looking at that rather than all the beautiful finishes in this space. But the way to improve, if you like the look of that, get a light fixture which has the candlelight glow, but it's also got a directional, functional downlight that is going to illuminate your counter space. I have a friend whose kitchen feels so dark, and that is because she is not getting any light on her countertops because all the little candles are glowing up here and there's no light where she actually needs it. And the third thing is adding color to your kitchen. Now, kitchen color can be very controversial. And if you love or hate the white, ubiquitous white quartz countertops, the reason why I chose this is because it is eternal and clean, but it is a little boring. It is a little boring. Where I wanted to add energy was with the backsplash. I purposely went with this triangular backsplash to symbolize the fire energy. Now, also to symbolize and enhance the fire energy in your home, some sort of red, orange, bright yellow, vibrant color to your stove area enhances and warms that space. If you're ready to renovate your full kitchen and you are looking for cabinetry colors and you are stuck on that, and cabinets, backsplash, potentially the wall color. This is where Feng Shui is just so powerful in aligning your kitchen with the energy from the outside. Let me show you. If these light fixtures are illuminating that, because look we have no overhead lighting. So we really don't know how this is looking at night. And this is a strange fixture up there. A little bit of color and pattern in a white kitchen, and we're starting to add a little bit of wood here, which is nice. Very contemporary kitchen with wood above. I would say that brown color represents earth. Here's some more. Now we're getting into the whites and wood combinations with the beautiful stones. And then here is a lovely yellow. So lots of people want to paint their kitchens yellow. And this is not the yellow they end up with. They're usually painting it like this kind of yellow. But we want this very soft, neutral, dirty butter. It's not yellow, but it's yellow, right? So that's why if you've painted a yellow kitchen and you hate it, it probably was not neutral enough. We've got some just nice, richer, warmer wood tones and some white accents and this huge, look at that thing. My goodness. Lots of white and then heavier, nice, clean, easily cleanable and reflecting light. That's lovely. And then look at this nice, warm, rich, very traditional Japanese kitchen with, a hood definitely supporting the function below it. And the stove actually doesn't have a hood. All right, now in our color compass, the southern part are the warmer colors. West is all of the grays that we just went through, whites and grays. As we get onto the top of the color compass from the northwest to the north to the northeast, we start getting into darker grays and blacks and darker earth tones. So here, this is a wine bar, pretty cool, stone, the beautiful color. So take away the liquor cabinet, pretend that's a bigger sink, or the sink's here and that. Here we go. Now we're starting to move into a little bit darker cabinetry, keeping it light and bright along the windows. And here we are adding in some warmth with these copper pots. And the gray overall is slightly, it's a warmer gray than what we've been seeing. Here we get some darker gray cabinetry. If this is west-facing windows and this is on the north side, that is color appropriate then for that. And boom, look at this big old black and white. Now this would be beautiful for the north wall of your kitchen, which, look at this, it might be like, here's the setting sun. So yeah, good Feng Shui. Another beautiful, so blacks and dark blues are really nice, appropriate for the northern side of your home on the northern hemisphere. Here we have some more dark cabinetry, beautiful. And then this, if this is north, this would be northeast, which would be a earth element, which would be represented nicely by that horizontal stone. There's some more nice, beautiful combination of the dark lower cabinetry, that heavy solid base, stone, and then a nice warm blank canvas by Bear. Love when they have the paint colors right there. And a nice dark kitchen warmed up by this horizontal with wood and the artwork. We're getting a little bit more blue kitchen. And this tile, see the square tile representing earth. And then these glaring lights, which they don't have on because we would just be focusing on that. That's all that would be focused. Now this stark, barren kitchen, let's get some, I'm surprised they didn't stylize it with at least some red, like a big floral bouquet, something, bring some life into that. Here we have a nice tropical retreat with darker blues. So, we're on that north side of the home of the color compass. So, and getting into maybe the northeast, even into the east, watch that sun rising. Now, this one is definitely a perfect example for something on the east side with this vertical blue tile, which represents both water and growth. So if this were window is facing east and you're watching the sun come up, it is just reinforcing that energy of the rising sun in the morning. And then this one, going bold and crazy. Here's a little bit more cottage, cozy, and really deep with patterns and abundance, right? So that southeast side and growth and abundance, that tile pattern truly shows that. And then here on our lower image, the tile backsplash. Again, if this is along southeast facing, that vertical tile in the chosen colors is just spot on for a southeast facing kitchen. Here's another abundant tile pattern for a southeast facing kitchen with lots of white, but some nice blue there. Oh, look at these blue cabinets. Aren't they gorgeous? And how the wood chair bases really read almost as red, right? It's a cherry looking wood finish there. What a beautiful, happy color. Another light scheme here with a nice backsplash. And if you want to paint cabinetry. This light, beautiful light green is something very subtle. And if you're ready for something more bold, which this green tile backsplash, if it were back in that vertical pattern again, that would even more amplify that upward growth energy. Beautiful. And here's another white kitchen. But if it's in that southeast sector, adding these bottles and giving it just a little, sometimes all we can do are just the subtle hints. There's not a lot of people doing pink and red kitchens. So we've just got this cute little kitchenette here, retro kitchenette done in pink, which would be great for southeast. And then I feel this final pretty island in this gorgeous stone, perfect for something that is sitting on the south and center of your home with these beautiful windows. So, okay, more videos to come. Please like and subscribe. Thanks so much for being here.